Well, regardless of the outcome, there is always going to be millions of Americans disappointed with the result.
And this morning, some supporters of Kamala Harris still in shock, understandably. This all unfolded very quickly overnight. Many say they expected a much better outcome, which just never arrived. So for more on dealing with the election aftermath, however you feel, we want to bring in Mike Veny. He's a mental health expert and host of the Better Men podcast. Thank you so much for taking some time with us this morning here on Morning Rush to kind of digest this whirlwind that happened overnight. Right now, both Harris and Trump supporters going through, of course, a flood of emotions. If you're on the Harris side, what tips do you have to soften the blow and the, concern and anxiety that many voters have voiced, about having a Trump presidency return to the White House?
Well, thank you for having me. If you are on that side, your feelings are valid, and it's important that you take time to actually sit with your emotions and feel them. And if you are struggling with your mental health, reach out for professional help. If you're in crisis, call 988. That's the basic formula right there.
So this campaign has been long, strange, divisive, pitting friends, neighbors, and even family members against each other. How can people reach out, try to rekindle those relationships that have been hurt by this divisive climate?
That's a real tough one, and it boils down, I think, to a few things, but one of them being conversations. We oftentimes start conversations and, how are you? And people just talk about politics. So it's important to have conversations and put boundaries in place. Say, look, we can go out to eat and let's just not discuss politics. And it's important to stick to that for all sides.
I admire that answer. I do. And I've had this debate with friends. If I can't talk about politics with you rationally and civilly, I don't know if we're really friends or not. And I'm not quite sure that for the sake of Thanksgiving peace, you shouldn't tell Uncle Ted or Aunt Judy that they're saying factually incorrect things. You should love someone enough or be close enough with someone enough to be honest. Why is that bad?
Why is that bad? It's not even about politics. It's about the fact that we, in conversation, like to correct each other. And sometimes we all have a little bit of self-righteousness in whatever it is that we're talking about. So it's important to just be aware of that, whether we're talking about politics or other things, and learn how to focus on checking in on people. How are you really doing? Learning about their interests outside of what's going on in the news. So this has more to do with conversations than anything.
And we know, of course, the supporters of the former president and projected president-elect at this point elated this morning. But experts say that side of voters can do a lot in reaching out to help heal the partisan divide. What advice do you have for Trump supporters this morning?
For Trump supporters out there who are celebrating, that's great. Celebrate. It's your moment. But it's important to understand that even if you don't get the other side or think the other side is wrong, their feelings are valid and they have some real concerns that are legitimate. So I encourage you to be a good human and just check on them with love, not to say, sorry you lost, but just to really check in on them.
I admire your compassion, sir. I do. I do. I think it's a lot easier said than done. But you're taking a higher road, and that's admirable. Mental health expert Mike Veny, thank you so much for giving us some time. I'm the host of Better Men podcast, which I should start listening to. Thank you for your advice this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You and I have this debate a lot, and it crystallized. We were in Iowa covering the caucuses in negative 40-degree weather, and remember there was a guy at the bar who was saying just factually inaccurate things, which doesn't fly with me ever. Not just by nature, personality, and profession. I'm not here for the BS. And you're in my I challenge. I go in.
Yeah, you see the fire, you bring the canister of gasoline.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes. To douse ignorance. But you're like, Rob, leave it alone. Don't engage. Don't do it. And I agree that your way is healthier. But I still come back to the idea that, come on, man. If we suppress that ability to talk civilly with each other, even if we disagree strongly, that just feels counterproductive and unhealthy to me.
I would argue there's a time and a place.
Right.
We are fortunate enough for now to have this forum to bring on analysts, experts, people on each side of the political aisle to share their perspective and then to challenge them right here for the public to view. If you're trying to change somebody's mind at a bar, like, it's probably not going to happen.
Agreed.
We're there for the same reason, to relax and enjoy each other's company. Same with Thanksgiving or Christmas or the holidays. You want to kind of have a warmer environment. So it's really just the setting to me. I totally hear your point that those conversations, hard, difficult conversations, need to be had. But no one likes to hear themselves, you know, you're wrong. Like, no one likes to hear that.
But what if they are?
That
is the dilemma of our time, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And I think the struggle that many friends, family members, not everybody comes to the table with the open mind.
Yeah.
It's here's my opinion and take it or leave it, or here's this and take it or leave it, instead of here's this, take it or leave it, but I'll hear you out, at least hear you out. And so I think, hopefully the results are the results, but maybe we can move forward in a way to hear each other out and find, peace in conversation and to have the conversations. I think having the conversations is important, because leaving it under the rug and sweeping it under the rug doesn't make anybody feel seen or heard.
I agree. And I just think sometimes you're never going to change anybody.
Yeah.
There's a low conversion rate in this country. But to me, it's just the idea of we all at some point should be made to intellectually defend what we're saying. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't just sit there in your bubble and kind of go, I don't want to lose that because now we all want to walk on eggshells. But your point about setting is well taken.
Setting, Pride goeth before fall. That's where I usually land.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Anyway.
And we were in an Iowa
Now we're getting
bar.
biblical. This has just gone.
That's what the election does to people sometimes.
But these are the conversations people are having today. How do we
do the holidays? How do we come together?
And
with
you
people
have
we don't
one of the
agree
most
with?
divisive candidates in our culture, like of the past few decades, now going to be president again.
Right.
These conversations are not going to stop. We're going to be having more and more of them.
Happy holidays, America. We'll be right back.